Welcome, 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 everyone. It is 6:05 p.m. on Monday night, and you're listening to the 109th installment of the Age Out Angels Radio Hour on www.hamiltonradio.net, Channel 2. I'm your host, Greg Report. I'm the founder and executive director of Age Out Angels. We're a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Age Out Angels provides one-to-one mentors to vulnerable youth for the purpose of coordinating the care and services that they need to survive. We try to help youth avoid some of the horrible pitfalls that they're likely to face if they don't have a proper safety net. This program is brought to you every week at this same time, courtesy of Doc G, William Saunders, Ruben Rodriguez, and all the fine people here at Hamilton Radio who allow us to use this airtime. Robin, our producer, is not able to be with us tonight. We'll see her again in 2 weeks. Ruben is on the big board. It's so good to see you here, Ruben. Always a pleasure, and we thank you so much at home for tuning in. We've put together what I hope you will find to be an insightful and compelling view of the child welfare system and related issues that improve our communities. So get ready tonight, because our special guests in the studio are Eleanor Herdeen, Program Coordinator, and Marianne LaSardo, Manager of a division of an organization called a Lunch Break, and their division is called a Life Skills Program, and it's very, very fascinating what they've done. I want you to stay with us for the whole hour. I promise you'll be just a little bit richer if you do so, and if you're thinking about setting up an organization like this in your area, you'll get a lot of great information about this tonight. And stay with Hamilton Radio all night long for a great combination of music and talk. Now, please take a moment. Open a separate browser and find us on Facebook. Go to my name, Greg Rapport, and hit that share button. Or, at better, email your address book and tell everyone there to go to www.hamiltonradio.net, Channel 2. Tell everyone in your world what we're talking about tonight, because what you're going to hear here applies to every geographic region, including where you live. And what we talk about here needs to be shared. Don't keep this private to yourself. There are kids in need out there. I need you to help us share it. And you do that by telling your friends. Remember, there's a generation of youth out there who are just being forgotten. And caring people like you and me and the people in my studio tonight can't just sit still while that happens. You know, I saw an article earlier in the day today that said there was a poll, and something like 83% of adults were completely unaware of the plight of foster children in this country. Only 17% of our population of adults has awareness. And that's what we're doing, and we need your help to do it. So be sure to tune in every Monday at 6 p.m. for our unfiltered look at the child welfare system and other related community services. This is where you come to get the whole truth, and I promise what you'll hear tonight cannot be found on the nightly news. Now, since we're live, you know, you can write into us during the show in the comments field on my Facebook page. Or if you're really bold and brave and you have a question or just want to join in the conversation because, you know, you're friendly, you can call in. The number is 609-807-2492, 609-807-2492. Call us up, meet Ruben on the telephone, and he'll put you through. Quick note from Jefferson County, Tennessee Juvenile Court. Cases have changed since the opioid crisis began. There have been more and more cases of neglect and more cases involving young children. So Jefferson County is one of the 3 counties in East Tennessee taking a new approach to infants in the child services system. The county just received a grant for $300,000 to establish a safe baby court. Instead of getting a list of Department of Child Services requirements and a caseworker, families selected by a judge will have access to more community resources through the program. Judge Will Roach will select up to 20 participants in Jefferson County, and he's quoted as saying, "If I see promise on first impression, I see parents that it looks like they're willing to work and looks like they just need some help," he said. So that's what... There's sort of a better way to describe this. When we talk about the Family First Prevention Act, right? What we're talking about is taking a whole lot of federal money that used to be used towards the foster program, meaning after a child's removed. That's when the money starts to get spent. Child's removed from a home, gets sent into a resource home, and then the money starts being spent. So the idea here in the Family First Prevention Act is to take that same money but reposition it so that it goes towards providing resources to families who need help to keep the family together, to keep the children in that family. That's clearly what they're doing here in Jefferson County, Tennessee. And if you think about it, you have to think who decides, right? Who's that gatekeeper? Who's the final person who says this child can stay in this home with services and this other child has to be removed? Well, certainly imminent danger, would be a reason that a child would have to be removed right away. But it really opens up a can of worms. And when I say it, what I mean is a wonderful can of worms, because if there's a way to give people the resources that they need, and what they're looking for here, a lot of times a social worker may walk into a house and see no food in the cupboard. And so no food means hungry children. That's what that means. That's neglect. That qualifies as neglect. That child can actually, technically be removed from that home. So under the Family First Prevention Act, why don't we help them just get access to food? Problem solved, if that's all it is. So the fewer number of problems, the lower hanging the fruit, right? And easier to provide resources that will enable the family to live together. The court is designed to bring together community services to help families with everything from job placement to help finding a place to live, from rehabilitation to plumbing. Anything that a perfectly functioning family would need is the quote. The goal is to help parents get back on their feet, to help babies in the foster care system get back to a permanent home. Quote, if we reach one kid, one child, and make a difference in one child's life, then that child, when they grow older, will make a difference in their family's life and in their grandkids' life. And it really does snowball in that way. And, according to the judge, he says, then we'll have a healthier society at the end of the day. That's the goal. Okay, another story from the Center for American Progress. Christina Navoa and Stephen Jessen Howard wrote about the crisis that families across the country faced when dealing with issues of child care. At a time when more than 2/3 of young children have all available parents in the workforce, child care is a necessity for most families across the country. Yet new data show that the current child care system lets down parents at nearly every turn. High-quality licensed care can be hard to find, especially for rural and Latin communities and for families of children with disabilities. Beyond the scarcity of child care is the expense. On average, families of children under age 5 spend $250 per week on child care. Together, these two facts forced millions of parents into choosing from an unappealing list of options: spend more than they can afford on child care, settle for cheaper but potentially lower quality care, or either leave the workforce or scale back their hours to provide child care themselves. And it's sort of amazing how this is a double-edged sword, because we should be paying child care workers a lot more than they get. They're child care workers, basically minimum wage workers. We're trusting them with toddlers. New data from the National Survey of Children's Health further sheds light on the prevalence of parents' child care-related job disruptions. Center for American Progress analysis of these data reveals that in each year from 2016 to 2018, more than 2 million parents of children age 5 and younger, which is like 1 in 10 parents, had to either quit a job, not take a job, or greatly change their job because of child care problems. This figure varies across the states, from slightly less than 5% in Kansas to 14% in Oregon. Other states with high rates of child care-related job disruptions include Nevada, South Carolina, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Florida. Parents who leave the workforce to become full-time caregivers forego more than just their salaries. They also earn less in benefits and retirement savings over the long run. The childcare crisis not only affects families' bottom lines, it also costs the economy $57 billion in annual lost revenue. We're going to take a short break. I want you to hit that share button, okay? We're going to take a 1-minute break, and when you come back, you're going to have the pleasure of meeting Eleanor Herdeen and Marianne LaSardo. Please don't go away. And we are back. Welcome back. With me tonight, Eleanor Herdeen and Mary Ann LaSardo. Eleanor is the program coordinator. Mary Ann LaSardo is the manager of Life Skills.
I am.
Welcome to the Age Out Angels Radio Hour.
Our pleasure to be here.
It's so good to have both of you
Thank
here.
you for having us.
Oh, yeah. You know it's my pleasure. Now, I have to say this. When I met you guys, right, was maybe 3 months ago, something like that, right? When we first met. Okay. I had a car accident on the way to your...
I remember
I
that.
forgot
yes.
about that.
to our meeting. It wasn't a big deal. It was, it was a stupid fender bender, but and so ever since then, I've confused the two of your names. And I've been and so, if you're out there and you're wondering why this is so silly, it's because I've been calling Eleanor Marianne and Marianne Eleanor for essentially the last 3 months.
And I got the better end of that deal.
And, apparently, they just had fun with it, so we can move on from there. But these are two ladies who you run the life skills department, shall we say? Program of a larger organization called Lunch Break, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's start with Lunch Break. Tell me what Lunch Break is.
So Lunch Break started as a soup kitchen to help those who were in need in Red Bank, New Jersey. And we help everyone in Monmouth, Ocean County, wherever people need help. And it's, again, started as a soup kitchen. It eventually progressed to a pantry. Then it progressed to a clothing closet. And about 2 or 3 years ago, our board chair, president, and our executive director, our director of programming and services, Shada and Gwen Love, and came up with this idea that, hypothetically, wouldn't it be great to put Lunch Break out of business, to make everyone self-sufficient so they really wouldn't need Lunch Break ever again. And so the idea of a life skills program was born. And I became part of this steering committee to help it make this a reality. And we started working on this about 2 years ago. But if it hadn't been for their vision, okay, this never would have happened.
Yeah.
And it has become an amazing program and very similar to your program, which is remarkable. This is a program that provides you with a mentor and or coach for as long as you need a mentor or coach. So there's no program start date or end date, okay? It's your start date, your end date, and the end date might be yours.
I love that, that whole concept. When I started Age Out Angels, it was with that same concept that if we could just solve this problem, I'm not trying for a whole career. I'm not looking to make this into something bigger for me personally, and just would love to put myself out of business by solving the problem.
Exactly.
And then you and I go to Boca and fish.
I'm done.
Or something, right?
Right.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. It makes perfect sense. So, Eleanor, how did you get yourself into this mess?
So I had met Marianne a few years ago volunteering through another nonprofit organization in the area. And then my senior year at Rutgers, when I was going for my bachelor's in social work, I had run into Marianne, I think, and she mentioned she got involved over at Lunch Break in the Life Skills program. And I asked her if I could come on as an intern. So September of last year, I started with her. We were still over at Lunch Break. We hadn't moved into the new center yet. And she stuck with me. She couldn't shake me, so I've been ever since.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're still in school, right?
Right. So I graduated in May and then started at Monmouth University for my master's program in social work.
And when do you get your master's?
May 13th.
Really, this year?
Yes, this year.
But who's counting?
Yeah, the countdown is on.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
We're all very proud of Eleanor.
Yeah. So, but did we all have pretty much middle class family grow up experience? Did anyone have it, particularly tough or anything?
Well,
like that?
I grew up in downtown Jersey City, and
that can't have been pretty.
there were moments it was wonderful, but we were probably like second generation from Italy, okay?
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we had significant money struggles. I just didn't know it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true. In our generation, when your parents, and I shouldn't lump you as being as old as I am, but when parents had problems, they didn't share that stuff with the kids. Everything was fine. They put on a face.
We lived in an apartment building of 7 people, families. They were all my cousins, my aunts, my grandparents. It was, one big happy family. And so it was a very loving environment to grow up
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, well, see, everybody thinks about, you need housing and you need food and you need clothing, right? But people don't include in that generally that core emotional need of being supported and loved and, and cared for. And that's something that it's hard to provide for a foster kid. I mean,
Yes.
without being creepy.
Yes.
It's something that they just can't seem to latch on to.
Exactly, that sense of family. And
Yeah.
no one can outdo anyone when you talk to Eleanor about her family and how amazing her family is. How many cousins and...
Oh, now you're just showing off, right?
No, so my mom is one of 9. So I grew up having 23 cousins just on my mom's side. So I'm used to having the big family, the big support system, kind of that ideal support family.
Yeah. So core emotional needs met.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you said before, and right on point, if we're going to help people, we need to fix daycare, transportation,
Right.
Housing.
These are key. Yeah.
food,
Mm-hmm.
job.
Yeah.
We fix those things,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Well, you just fixed poverty.
I did.
I mean, that's what
and it's
that
true.
Sort of all adds up to is you fixed
You know,
poverty.
we took care of those Maslow hierarchy of needs, and we're not going to think about self-actualization. And no, I am not a social worker. We're not going to think about self-actualization, okay, until we fix
Until
all
we
those
get
other.
there, right?
Yes,
Until we get there. All right. Okay. So now you said you're not a social worker.
I am not.
So you've opened the door, Your Honor, to these to this line of questioning. So,
Yes.
so what got you involved with? I guess lunch break first, right? You were involved with lunch break.
I retired from corporate America about 6 years ago now.
What were you doing?
Vice President of Customer Service for Cablevision
Okay.
for New Jersey. Retired, very happy to retire, and created my strategic plan as to what I wanted to do in my retirement. And I knew I wanted to help in the nonprofit world. And so I picked my areas of importance. One was helping children, helping women, and using my history degree, which I got and never used it a day in my life. Okay, and so I picked various nonprofits that would support that. I went to a nonprofit getting to know you kind of thing, met some people from lunch break, went and did a tour of lunch break, and after that, here I am.
How about that? I love the stories because people come at this from all different walks of life. Now, did you always know you wanted to be a social worker, Eleanor?
I think I knew I wanted to do something in the helping field, and then just getting the experience interning at different nonprofits. I was like, okay, if I want to do this, where can I go? And social work was the way there.
And now, in that whole extended family that you have, are there any other people who are involved in helping kids or social work? Or
Actually, surprisingly, I have a few teachers, but no social workers.
Really?
Just me, yeah.
You're the only
Chugging
one.
along, yeah.
You're the one who's supposed to have empathy at the Thanksgiving table.
Of
huh?
course, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so now when was this that you got involved with lunch break, Marianne?
2 years ago.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, last January, this
And
January.
so that
just
the
passed.
life skills program hasn't been around like all that long.
Oh, not at all. Okay, we just actually moved into our building February 13th, 2019. We moved into the new building,
Wow.
our new facility,
yeah.
and officially launched the program March 1st, 2019. So we
Okay.
are a week away from our launch date of this program. And, it has certainly grown faster than I had anticipated. Eleanor, we started with 3 people that we were helping, and as of today,
We have 73 active participants, and just through the program, total 143. So we
Fantastic.
grew really fast.
Yeah.
in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned that if I double
Yeah, that's crazy
that
fast.
in another year,
Right.
I'm up to 280 people or thereabouts.
Yeah,
Okay, 286 in another year, which I hoping that doesn't happen because I need to grow this in a way that is
That's right.
appropriate, right? But we are always in need of coaches and people to help us. Okay, and
Sure.
it is again an amazing way to help, and
Yeah.
we really use people for their skills that they have.
Mhm.
We have people who are truly coaches, and we have a person who will be helping our coaches coach our coaches, who because it's stressful to help people who have all these difficult times. So the coaches tend to internalize. So we have someone who is coming in to do some sessions to help our coaches.
Okay.
Then we have people who I love to call our subject matter experts or SMEs,
Uh-huh.
who are just proficient at financial literacy, who are proficient at resume writing, who are proficient at getting you legal help, who are proficient at all those kinds of individual subject matter
Sure.
and then we have, God bless our admins who can answer a phone, okay, because we're running around like crazy.
Yeah.
So all volunteers.
All right. So, wow. Well, I mean, what a growth. Managing that kind of growth is 2 full-time jobs. What when you set up the life skills program?
Yes.
Did you structure it in terms of like little pockets or cubbies of financial management skills, nutrition, cooking, management skills,
No.
time management skills?
We thought it
you
was
do
go-
that?
we thought it was going to be different than it was. We thought that there would be more of a classroom kind of setting to do
Okay.
financial literacy
Yeah.
per se,
Well,
right?
that would make
We'd
sense,
have
yeah.
a classroom of 8 people.
Mhm.
We tried that once or twice, and it was not particularly successful. People don't like to talk about their finances in a public environment.
Yeah.
So we have now found that one-on-one financial training has been the most
Mm-hmm.
help. And we find one-on-one works better than.
Yeah.
We do some classroom settings. Actually, Eleanor created a wonderful curriculum that we're working with Family Promise to do general training. So do you remember what some of those?
So you're
curriculum-
collaborating with Family Promise?
Right. So we do Thursday night classes for an hour. We meet with them and we have a variety of different classes. I want to say we have financial literacy. We brought in a realtor to talk to the clients about the questions they should ask when they're looking for affordable housing, when they're calling to find out about apartments, stuff like that. We are building classes with Planned Parenthood to do self-love, healthy relationships, boundary setting, things like that we found to be really important.
So you're using the classroom technique for this?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. So
Yep.
not the one-to-one?
But in our relationship with Family Promise, when they come into that program, they are assigned a one-to-one coach.
Okay.
So there is that one-to-one with Family Promise.
Yeah.
But on Thursday nights, it's one of their requirements of Family Promise that everyone in that program at that time meet together. And so we're taking that time to do the classes and the curriculum that Eleanor put together for us, which has been, we've gotten rave reviews. It's just been wonderful.
Well, that's great. So did you at least get a paper out of this?
Actually, I did, yes.
Double duty, man.
yep,
You're still
you know,
in school.
absolutely.
Uh-huh. And what did you put together? What did you learn in the process of putting this curriculum together?
Kind of pulling together our assets. We had to find people for a lot of classes that we didn't already have volunteers for. So reaching out to people, networking,
Yeah.
see who we can pull in to help us.
How many volunteers do you actually have?
This morning I looked, we had about 38 active coaches and volunteers helping us.
Because that has to be managed also.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Right?
We know.
Yeah, you probably figured that out
We did.
by now. Wow, 38's a lot.
And one of our biggest successes is our ESL, okay?
Really?
We're just so impressed. We work with Literacy Volunteers of America, okay? Our ESL teachers are all certified by Literacy Volunteers of America. How many people do we have in ESL? 23, 22?
Yeah,
something
about
like that?
20, 21 maybe.
And they show up every week without fail.
Any of them going for like citizenship and
We've had a
A
couple.
lot, yeah.
We had Lutencia who went for citizenship. She got a house. She got a job. She is just a true success story beyond belief. And we just were notified today that Literacy Volunteers of America has named our primary teacher volunteer of the year. You go, Millie.
All right, Millie. Yay. I hope you're listening, Millie.
We're very proud. When we started ESL, we had 2 people. 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and amazing, amazing.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. I got to tell you what I find the most rewarding about the whole process is getting to work directly with young people, and that's because it keeps me young. That's otherwise you don't get that connection. I'm serious.
Right.
I'm serious, right? You hit a certain age, and you don't hang them with people anymore who are 15, 16, 17 years old. It just doesn't happen. Yet, the world is going on at a much faster pace, than all that. Like, it really helps to know people who are young.
It does, which is
Nowadays.
why I have Eleanor.
Yeah. Yeah,
who,
absolutely.
who says things like, make sure we get a picture for Instagram.
Yeah,
Of
but you
course.
know how to answer a cell phone.
Okay, that was primary in my thought process. Not.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yes, just an asset for all those other things, and her help with helping us design our database. Okay, and we have an app for that, thanks to our technology person. We
Good.
do all of our data gathering through all of our coaches' cell phones, so it just makes it very quick and efficient. So,
Yeah, yeah.
But thank goodness for Eleanor, right?
Well, it's true, man. The world changed when I was your age.
Yeah.
People my age knew everything. There was nothing we could teach them. They knew everything. Nothing had changed. In the last 30, 40 years, the technology in the world and everything has changed so much that people my age still know a lot of stuff, but not what's happening right now.
Yeah.
In advancements. And for that, there has to be this collaboration between older generation and younger generation that didn't have to be, 40 or 50 years ago. And that's
and
kind of...
it's kind of, I go to her for a lot of those technology questions, although YouTube is also very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find anything.
So, but I do use Eleanor, but I like to think that Eleanor uses me from a sense of wisdom and judgment.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because that
I'm
does
sure
come
there's
with
no
age.
question about that. That's right. That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely reciprocal. Hey, we're going to take a short break. Don't go away. Please hit that share button on Facebook. When we come back, Marianne is going to tell us how to... you can set up an organization just like this wherever you live, right? We're going to franchise this thing out. So don't go away. We'll be back in 1 minute. Please hit that share button on Facebook. We need you to share this with your friends. Before we go further, I do need to thank all the people who made donations to Age Out Angels this week. We thank you so very much for your generosity. Remember, if you have an employee giving fund or matching gifts foundation associated with your place of work, we would certainly appreciate your contacting us and telling us how we can participate in that. Please private message me on Facebook or email to greg@ageoutangels.org. And I want to remind everyone that you can donate to Age Out Angels every time you make a purchase from Amazon. All you have to do is designate Age Out Angels to be your Amazon Smile designee, and a portion of your payment will go to Age Out Angels without it costing you 1 penny more. I can make it easy for you to designate Age Out Angels as your Amazon Smile recipient. All you have to do is contact me either via Facebook or greg@ageoutangels.org, and I can send you a link that will take you directly to our designation. I wanted to also mention an organization that there's actually a relationship between the Life Skills Program and Age Out Angels and Sansone Jr.'s Route 66 Nissan
Yes.
in Neptune, New Jersey. We met these lovely ladies from the Life Skills Program about 3 months or so ago, working with a young person who had aged out of the system, and they provided help for her, which was wonderful. And in the process, we learned that this young lady's car was about to die and needed about, $2,500 worth of repairs for a car that's worth $500. Didn't seem to make sense to any of us. And these ladies made us aware of this wonderful gentleman who runs Sansone Jr.'s Route 66 Nissan in Neptune, New Jersey. And he will occasionally make a car available for someone who fits the profile. And certainly, the young lady that we were working with would fit that profile. She was doing everything she could to not become a burden on the state. And that car was the linchpin. That was the thing that got her back and forth to work. She honestly didn't drive it much outside of that. She wasn't looking for a joyride. She just wanted to get back and forth to work. And so I have nothing but wonderful things to say about Lunch Break and the Life Skills Program, and nothing but wonderful things to say about Sansone Jr.'s Route 66 Nissan in Neptune. And I'll tell you something else. If you go there and buy a car from them, they have agreed to make a generous donation
Oh, that's so wonderful.
awesome.
to Age Out Angels.
Very
So,
cool.
so you got to mention us, though, okay? It's not going to happen by osmosis. Yeah. So wherever you are in the country, please fly to New Jersey
Buy your car.
and buy your car from Sansone Jr.'s Route 66 Nissan in Neptune. I think they just opened up a new one, too, in West Windsor, if I'm not mistaken.
It takes a whole village to make
Yeah.
this all better.
That's right. That's right. Now, we call that angel threads. You call it dumb luck, right?
I know.
But, I'm on the other side of the state from you.
You are.
Right? The fact that we would meet and have that need, and you would know who to go to, and that would somehow come a full circle and end up materializing as an automobile for this young person who really needs it. One person at a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what we do. We help one person at a time. Okay. Eligibility. Not everybody can play, right? Who can be in your group and who can't?
So if you look at the range of our participants, we have a number of people who suffer from various handicaps, physical, mental handicaps. We also have a number of people who have their master's degrees and life just gave them a hiccup. Okay, we have one person who is 17 credits away from her bachelor's degree that we have worked very hard with. We have, so if you need help, we're there to provide help. Go to Lunch Break, okay, their website, what's the website page? It's www.lunchbreak.org.
Yep.
Okay, go to the top of the banner. You'll see the Life Skills Program. If you need help, once you click on that, it'll say click here. If you need help, you click here, okay, and it will take you to a very general information page with your name, best contact number, and what you're looking for from us, and we will get in touch with you, and we will chat with you and figure out who the best coach, who the best fit, or subject matter expert, because some of the folks who say they need help just need a resume written, okay, and our resume writer is outstanding, okay? Or I just need some help understanding how to improve my credit. Our credit expert, although I need a couple of more, though, so I'm burning him out, okay, is just fabulous, all right? So it really depends on what you need. Very often, Eleanor and I will sit and say, okay, Marianne has this kind of personality. It will work better with someone like Greg. Okay, let's see how that goes. So it's really a very personal kind of solution to finding the coach and the participant.
So this is not just for foster kids.
No.
This is
No,
broad.
This is, if you need help,
Yeah.
we will help you. And again, some
Whole
of
families?
we haven't, have we done families? I don't think we've had a family yet. But
Husband
we help,
and wife.
we've helped a husband and a wife, and we've helped children. We have someone coming tomorrow, the mom, okay? But we will, because the mom is being helped, okay? Family promise.
Yeah.
Yes, we do help families. One of those dumb moments, okay?
But you don't get outside of those two counties, right, Monmouth and Ocean? I'm just thinking of a particular family in East Windsor who could really use it.
I don't have a county preference. If they can give us a call and get to us, we're there to help.
Okay. All right. They have to figure out a way to get to you.
Yes.
Transportation, big issue.
Big issue. Huge.
Yeah. Anything in the works for that?
Not yet.
Tough, yeah.
Well, it's not so bad if you're local, because in that whole Red Bank, Asbury Park, Monmouth Mall, we're right on a bus line.
Okay.
So the bus literally stops outside our door. So you can come, take a bus, okay, and we'll try to help in various other ways. But it is transportation and childcare. Two of the biggest issues we have. We work with an organization called HAPCOR now, who helps the homeless, okay? And we've got, 2 or 3 people now saying that they want a life coach too. Transportation, childcare.
Yeah.
Biggest issues we have. We're also working with another organization right now, Monmouth Daycare Center, which provides outstanding daycare and provides governmental help for daycare, and if you meet certain levels. We're working hard now to do Eleanor again, God bless Eleanor with her technical skills, did a survey to ask the parents of the Monmouth Daycare Center parents again, what skills do they need? So not the kids, the parents of the kids. And ESL, financial literacy, and computers were the 3 that they want.
3 major topics. Yeah.
So working with Monmouth, Eleanor had a meeting with Monmouth Daycare Center, wanted to talk about what we're going to be doing with them in terms of providing the training and what Heidi's going to do to help support this initiative.
Sure. So like Marianne said, childcare is a huge thing. So we figured out a time that works. So the kids are technically still in daycare. It's an hour in between the time that they close and the time they get the children get picked up. So during that time, they agreed to stay open a little bit longer, so the parents can go do an ESL class or a computer training class, and then we're shooting to do a financial literacy one later on, while the kids are still getting childcare. And then they also agreed to provide dinner, because that's a huge issue for a lot of them. So it kind of incentivizes them staying, getting some information about the life skills program, and then also the ESL classes, the financial literacy, stuff like that. So they're awesome.
It's nice when you added the food component.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure that's an incentive.
She said it, and I laughed, and she was like, "No, seriously. It's huge." Yeah.
Well, I can remember in my corporate days, okay, I ran a large call center, and every time we had a snowstorm, all I had to do was say, let's feed you.
Food, and they're there.
They'd all show up.
People would come to work. Fascinating. So let me just dwell on the eligibility for 1 second, though. Because, I mean, in Age Out Angels, we like to think we can help everybody, but we know that there are certain physical and mental, neurological
That's true.
issues.
Yes.
That, I mean, we're just not trained for. And I think that
That's
in some
very true with
instances
us,
you
too.
can actually do more harm.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Right? You know
Yeah,
what I
no
mean?
doubt.
These are people who want to improve the quality, who they want to do the work to
Yeah.
improve the quality of their lives by getting some new skills.
Yeah.
It's not for someone who has these kinds of disabilities. And again, we're not trained for that.
Right.
But what we will do is we will go through our resource log and then find them where they do need to go for that help.
Right. Yeah, get them some kind of proper referral
Mm-hmm.
to do that.
Yes.
So what if I'm out there listening and I'm in anywhere, Birmingham, Alabama,
Uh-huh.
or East Tennessee, Jefferson County, and I'm thinking, I might like to start an organization like yours. How would you suggest they go about doing that?
I would suggest calling me.
Okay.
And let's have that conversation because, we're really new at this yet.
Which I think makes you fun.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, you're being tortured in real time.
I
to
am
learn.
being.
Yeah.
I am. Okay, and the two of us have been just inseparable in this journey. It has been an amazing trip that the two of us we've taken together. But yes, if I should know the number of lunch break off the top of my head, but I'm having one of those moments. Do you know it?
Yes, 732-747-8577, and Marianne is extension 3200.
Okay, say it one more time. Slow.
732-747-8577, extension 3200.
So if you want to start an organization like this somewhere else, at another location, you can call Marianne, and she'll tell you what not to do.
Absolutely, and I have a really long list of that. But because I'm sort of a process metric-driven businesswoman, I do have the operations manual that I put together.
Did you really?
I did.
Good for
My
you.
first 8 months while I was there, we didn't have clients. I didn't have an Eleanor. I had a little desk and a Chromebook.
Right.
So I put together my operational manual, what I thought was important, how to run the business, and so I do have some of it I've just sort of ripped up because it was really silly in retrospect. But some of it has been very valuable.
Yeah, I'm sure they were realistic thoughts at the moment.
They were.
Yeah.
Yes.
I tend to drive people crazy because I go about it really methodically. I go very slow. I take my time. I think about everything. It drives people nuts. Who want everything to happen? Like, come on, let's go, let's do this.
Well, that
thing.
is one thing that I have noticed about the nonprofit world in comparison to corporate America. It does move slower in the nonprofit world.
That might be part of why I like it.
It might be. It might be a part one. I
came out of the corporate world too, right?
Yes.
And the corporate world was, what have you done for me like today? Right?
And what are you doing for me tomorrow? And it's not even tomorrow.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
That's right. No, in the nonprofit world, we do. I was able to stop and think and not put out fires. Right?
Oh, well,
What's your biggest time wasting in management is
Yeah.
putting out fires.
Yes.
Right. So I walk in your door. I don't know how I got there, but I walk in your door, and I say, I don't have a job.
I need help.
I need help. Yeah. So
We're here to help.
What do you do?
We're here to help you.
Okay.
Let's go sit inside and talk for a little bit so we can find out how we can best help you and what you want to achieve.
Do you find that what I do that every person is different?
Every
The similarity is they need help, but
every person is different.
Yeah.
What they need help with and how they perceive that help is going to look like. Okay, and how fast they want that help. And some people want it yesterday, but some people understand that it's a process. Okay.
Oh, that's another thing I found in the nonprofit world. You can call someone back 6 months later, and they say, "Wow, that was quick." You know what I'm saying? In the profit world, 6 months later, they say, "No, I gave my business to someone else. Where were you?"
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But people are so used to being knocked around,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
By the system that if you get back to them within a year, they can't believe the waiting
Which is
list
a
was
very,
so
Oh my
small.
goodness,
which is
It's
such
awful,
a
yeah.
sad
It's so
thing.
sad. It's
Very
a
sad.
horribly sad commentary. That's right.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me a story. Who's like tell me one of your strangest cases without revealing names, of course.
Oh my goodness.
Strangest?
I'd like to think of maybe our very, very first client that we had. And I'll use his first name because no one will. Glenn. Glenn had true multiple disabilities. He was legally blind. He was schizophrenic, had real problems with life, was incarcerated within a program, and all he wanted to do was get a job. He just wanted a job. And he also wanted to try to help his reading and his math. And he was reading at a 3rd and 4th grade level. And this one Saturday, I was at lunch break, and getting him to Brookdale Community College to get remedial math and English skills. And his math and English got to probably the 7th and 8th grade.
So he was working.
He was working at this. It was really very good. And I saw him, and he yelled down the corridor, "Miss Marianne, I love algebra." I was like, in my whole life, no one has ever said that to me.
No, it's not a set of words you expect to hear. Maybe at MIT. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
love algebra, Miss Marianne. And we got him a job, okay?
Mhm.
And when that organization lost their contract, we got him another job, okay? And he's still working at one of the local McDonald's, doing a fine job. He's stable. He's dependable.
How is he supporting himself?
He gets disability.
Okay. That
Okay.
was enough as blind
It really wasn't.
schizophrenic?
Oh, my favorite story was when Eleanor fixed his phone so he could see.
So we could see.
Yeah, I made the font bigger, and it changed his entire life. The font was too small. He had really, really poor vision. So we set an hour time to meet to see, okay, what was going on? What's the problem? In 5 seconds, we made the font bigger, and he was like, "Oh, perfect. That's all I needed."
Changed my life.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
I got goosebumps just
Yeah.
talking about it, right? He also taught us that the because we're smug, okay, we're like, so tell us what you spend your money on. We're going to see if we can help you budget.
Yeah.
And he's doing all the right things. I said, so what are you spending all this extra money on? Washing my clothes.
Huh.
There's no place for people to wash their clothes cheaply. Think
Guess
about
that's
that.
true. Yeah.
Think about that. It costs $10 to go to the laundromat. By the time you wash, you dry, you buy the detergent, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
There's no place that opens up their door and says, wash your clothes here. Huge expense
Yeah.
for those who are poor.
Sure.
And you can't go on a job interview if you're smelly or
No.
dirty,
No. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
The simplest of things that I never thought of,
Right.
Glenn taught me.
Amazing.
It is. Good word.
I want you to tell everyone out there your website. Eleanor, where should people go if they want to donate, if they want to volunteer, if they want to become a part of the wonderful work that you're doing?
Sure. So you can go online to lunchbreak.org to donate. And when you're on the donation page, you can designate where you want your donation to go. So we would love if you donated to the Life Skills program, of course. But Lunch Break does also have a million other great programs as well. And you can also find the Life Skills program on there. So like Marianne said before, the running tab across the top, the Life Skills program is the second tab. So if you go there, you can find out our mission, how to get involved in volunteering, and how to also become a participant in the program.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And if you're paying attention out there, I hope you will go to their website and support these guys. They're doing some really, really excellent work. Finally tonight, the Chronicle for Social Change wrote about the relationship between foster parents and biological parents. This gets interesting. When children are removed from their homes, they still have parents who will rightfully remain part of their lives. In fact, when children are safely returned to their birth family, this is the best possible outcome for a child. According to federal data, the majority of children placed in foster care return home with their parents. If this is the best outcome for children, how can foster parents develop a healthy relationship with birth parents to increase the likelihood of success when children go home? Well, foster and birth parents, I got together and identified several ideas for building relationships. Idea number one is to support visitation. I know that the visitation has been like a huge issue, especially in big cities, and it doesn't always work. And you know, I've seen so many times a child sitting there waiting, expecting to be picked up by a birth parent who never comes, and the letdown is crushing. If you think about it. But as a foster parent, if you could just be a part of that to support that visitation, It certainly can hurt. Another thing that a foster parent has to remember is to be prepared for anger. Show compassion and do not get angry in return. You're dealing with a kid who's hurting in many, many ways, some ways that you can't even imagine. Then share information about your family and background. Let the foster child know that there is a family there. Might not be their biological family, but there's a family. Assure birth parents that you are not trying to replace them, and I would add to that you're not competing with them, and you will do your best to keep their child safe. That's what's important. Include birth parents in meetings. Make them an active part of the team when it comes to school, when it comes to medical visits, sporting events, religious organizations. Let the birth parents know what's going on and invite them to be active participants. Remember that when you foster, most kids end up back with their biological families. Then you want to ask birth parents questions about what the child likes and dislikes. There's an old saying, man, you find out the truth about the child from parents and caregivers. You find the truth about parents and caregivers from the child. So talk to the birth parents. Don't be afraid to talk to them. Answer any questions the birth parents have, such as where their child sleeps, with whom they interact, and how they're doing in school. Find creative ways to increase contact between visits, email, letters, private Facebook page, Skype, FaceTime, anything that works. Help prepare the foster child for visits with his or her birth parents. Talk positively about them and bring the child there with a positive attitude. Take photos during visits. Have copies made for the parent and the child. Brainstorm with the birth parent on ideas for visits. If problems develop, ask the birth parent to help in the solution. These are all wonderful, wonderful suggestions. Children come into the foster care system, remember this, at the lowest point of everyone's life. They enter the foster care system at the lowest point of their lives, at the lowest point of their parents' life, at the lowest point of their family history. That's when you come into the picture. The primary goal for that family will always be safe reunification. Foster parents can help birth parents change their view of the system away from that of a system that's geared against them to a system that is geared to support them, to help them find ways to best use the system to their advantage to get their families back together. When birth parents trust that the system is not there to keep them from their children, but to help stabilize the family situation, it will ultimately benefit the children. The number one reason people don't foster is because they're afraid of the heartbreak of attachment. And that's just a shame because the kids need you, and that's something that as adults, we kind of need to be able to share love and not think of it like a possession that we are losing. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another hour talking about youth who should matter more in our political and economic discourse than we did. We thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to Hamilton Radio, my most excellent guests, Marianne LaSardo and Eleanor Herdeen from Lunch Break, the Life Skills Program. Let's make a date to meet right back here next week. Put that on your calendar. Daniel Cross, professor from the College of New Jersey, will be here to talk about slavery after the Civil War. Thanks to our engineering group with music provided by our webmaster, our social media specialist, let's make a date next week. See you at the same time. Until then, let's make this week the best week ever. Good night.